Is Monday. So on Monday, guys, we typically talk about mindset, Monday mindset, right? And specifically like the mindset of an entrepreneur and how to get in momentum, stay in momentum, and then once you are there, how to grow your business, right? And so today I wanted to talk about taking ownership over everything in your world. And when I mean world, I mean your business, right? Um, I'm a fan of doing it outside of your business as well. But um, when it comes to business, I think this is one of the most important factors that determines whether or not you're going to be successful, right? Because you can have guys, you can have all the strategy and all the tactics and all of that stuff, which is largely what I talk about the other 4 days out of the week is the strategies, are the tactics, right? But if you are not the person that is setting themselves up for success, that stuff's not going to serve you, right? And again, like this is just coming from my experience, right? This is all these videos. It's how I operate. It's what I've seen to be true for myself and for other people that have reached the place that I would like to reach that. Or if you have met people, you're like, wow, like that guy has a great business or whatever. It's what I've seen to be true from those people as well, networking, right? So in ownership, taking ownership is not something like I think um, not something new that you're going to be like, man, I've never heard of that before. So this video is much more to reinforce it, right? Because I've seen that to be true as well. So if you've seen someone else, talk about it, or you read a book on it or whatever, I'm just here to reinforce that. Yep. I mean, I think it's definitely one of the most important factors. But I'm here to kind of talk about what that looks like when you own a gym, right? What does that look like? And so for me, um, it means that there's different aspects of my business, and I know I have a working knowledge and understanding of all of them. Right now, there's some of them that I don't like to do, so I delegate them. There's some of them that don't make sense for me to do, so I don't do them. Right, but when it comes to taking ownership over how my business runs and how successful it is and the profit margins and all of those things, that all comes down to me. Because I either am doing it myself, which means that the outcome is going to be determined on my skill level and my effort and my ability to um, do it correctly, or it's going to be determined on the person that I hired or trained that's doing it if I'm not doing it, right? So whether it's coaching, whether it's operations or sales or lead generation or lead nurture or whatever it is, when it comes to your gym, right? You're either doing it yourself or you've hired or you've outsourced it. But it doesn't matter because even if you hired somebody else or you outsourced it to somebody else, you made that decision, right? You decided to do that. You picked the person, right? And you vetted if you think they're able to meet your expectations or hit the results that you're expecting, right? And so if they don't hit the results or they don't meet your expectations, right? It's not their fault. It's easy. It's not their fault that your business didn't hit those KPIs or didn't hit that profit or you had to step back in and do whatever. That's your fault. Right. And so when I'm talking to some newer gym owners that maybe are talking about joining our program or whatever it may be, um, man, there's some stuff that shows me right off the bat that they're probably not taking the level of ownership that they need to be taking in order to be successful, largely when it comes to like decision making, right? And so I was just talking with somebody, I think a week ago ish, last week sometime, and we were talking about making the investment into my program, right? And for him, we do a thing called a scholarship, so it's like when you do a scholarship, it's literally like doesn't cost almost anything at all. And he's like, well, let me talk to my accountant because I'm not really sure how much money we have. I'm not really sure, you know, um, if it fits into this month's budget or not. And to me, it's like, holy cow, man. Like, if you have to talk to an accountant to know if you're able to make this investment into your business, the probability that you will reach the goal, the long term goal that you just told me you'd love to be able to reach, is so freaking low because you can't do anything. You can't take the action that is going to be required across multiple different areas of your business in order to be successful. Time doesn't wait for anybody, right? And so this opportunity now for this guy's gone. It's gone. He can't get into my program anymore. With this scholarship offer that I extended to him, right? And so he can still get in, but it's going to be at our regular, program price, right? And so now there's a massive opportunity that he missed on, because he didn't have a bias for action. He didn't take action, right? He didn't, and it's because he's not taking the level of ownership over his business that he should be, right? Or you guys will hear, or I'll hear as well. Hey, I need to talk to my wife about this, right? When the wife is not involved in the business at all, right? Is completely not involved in the business, and maybe and so it doesn't make sense. Now, if your wife was like the ops manager or something like that, I understand, right? But if the wife plays no role in the business, it doesn't make any sense, right? This is not a personal, you're not investing in a 401k or what. This is your business, and you need to take ownership over everything in your business in order to be successful. You don't need to, but then you should lower your expectations on what you're able to achieve. So when it comes to how your business grows and what profit you make and how much time you put into your business and the skills that you have and what you've learned and what you invest in and your mentors and all of that stuff, all of those are decisions that you make, right? And so the outcome of your business is completely, up to you, right? And the people that you hire and what you delegate, all of that, right? And so I think that that mindset has really served me because I take responsibility over every aspect of everything, and it gives me the power to make the changes that I need to make in my business, right? If I started uh, if I started delegating or not delegating, but if I started not taking the level of ownership and putting and placing the blame on circumstances that are outside of my control, well then I'm relinquishing that power, right? And now I'm saying there's nothing that I can do about it. It's just the way that it is, right? So if I say, hey, look, the economy is not going so well, I'm just not going to be able to grow this quarter, right? Or if I say, look, there's no good coaches, nobody wants to work anymore, right? I'm relinquishing the power to be able to fix my problem and almost saying, well, for this time period or because of these reasons, it's unfixable, right? Go ahead, have that mindset. You will not grow, you will stay broke, and people will absolutely pass you up that don't have that mindset, right? Because there's people out there that don't give a shit about any of that, right? And is going to take ownership over all of it. You had an employee or a coach leave and start their own business, your fault, right? You had a salesperson that's not closing at a high rate, your fault. You don't know how to attract new clients or get them to show up, your fault, right? You don't know how to get referrals from your existing business, and you guys, you're so great, and your business is awesome, and you guys are the best in town, but nobody's talking about you and nobody's referring anybody to you. Your fault, right? All of those things are your fault. Either you don't know how to do it, or you're not putting forth the effort required to do it successfully, right? And so the cool thing is you can fix that. You take ownership over it, and then you can make a plan of action to fix it, right? You can get the right strategy, you can execute at a higher level, you can attract people that are going to help you, whether it's in the form of mentors or employees that are going to have skills or time or something that you don't have to help you uh, be able to do more faster. That's the power of other people. We can't do everything ourselves, right? So I think it's but none of that stuff is possible if you are used to placing the blame outside of yourself or making excuses for whatever circumstance that you're in. If you're used to that, right? And you legitimately believe that there's things outside of your control that are prohibiting you from being successful, then you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur, right? Because it doesn't go away. It's never going to get easier. It's not going to, when you reach higher levels of freedom, higher levels of profit, and some of the things that you are seeking, the ownership and the level of problems and all of these things, they don't go away. They just change, right? And so your problem might switch from, hey, this coach isn't teaching these classes, very good, and that's why my members are quitting, right? That's a very easy example of not taking ownership and placing the blame on someone else. It's this coach's problem. This coach is coming in late. This coach doesn't teach very good classes. This coach is not following my programming, right? You hired that coach, right? You trained that coach. It's your responsibility. Those customers, they don't give a shit, right? It's your business. And so if you explain to them that the coach isn't very good, they don't care. They're just going to cancel anyways, right? Well, that type of mentality and problems, they don't go away when your business grows. They just transform into something else, right? It's going to be, this GM isn't making sure that the rest of the employees are hitting their KPIs, and the expectations that they're setting for those employees is not the same thing that they're actually tolerating, right? Meaning that the disciplinary stuff, when you don't hit your KPIs, it's not there, right? And so it's very easy to say, well, my business isn't as profitable or isn't growing because of my GM, right? Again, another example of you taking the ownership and placing it outside of yourself. Well, who hired that GM or promoted them? What are the KPIs? Are they realistic? Are the expectations being, communicated properly? What are the KPIs? Who's tracking them? All of these answers come down to you, right? And so if you don't know all the numbers to your business that you should know, right? If you got to go to, you could ask me right now, there's literally 0 numbers that my accountants know that I don't know, right? There's a difference between having, engaging with people that are going to help you facilitate your business faster, so they'll know certain numbers, certain KPIs, because it's going to help them do their job better, so you don't have to do it. There's a difference between that and you just not knowing, right? And so if someone were to ask me, hey, what's your closing percentage at your gym? I know what it is, right? It doesn't mean I'm the one taking the sales. It doesn't mean that I'm the one that, is the one putting it in the spreadsheets and tracking it, right? But I know what it is, right? And so that way, if I were to be able to diagnose, if someone says to me, well, why aren't you growing with as many members as you want to, like, what's your closing percentage? I'm not going to say, hold on, I got to go check with my sales manager, right? It's bullshit, right? What's your show percentage? What is your average scheduling percentage? What's your hours of availability? I got to go check with my sales manager. Get out of here with that. Then you're not taking ownership over everything in your world, right? And that's okay if you don't want to. It's okay if you don't know this stuff. Then just reset your expectations to be something a little bit more modest, right? Don't be out here like, I'm going to fucking crush it. I'm going to have this $1 million gym and open 4 locations if you don't even know those numbers. Get out of here with that. Because there's people out there that are grinding their ass off and working fucking hard and know all of this stuff and always have and always will, right? Those are the guys that are going to have these crazy gyms, multiple locations. You're going to wonder, I wonder how they did it. It wasn't a secret, right? They just took over. They just learned everything about their business and took ownership over all of it, right? So, anyways, guys, I get fired up about this because for me, uh, it it is the hard work. It's the hard work that people don't want to do, right? And so it sucks when you have people that are really wanting to accomplish amazing things in life, but are unwilling to do the work that's involved to the work involved to be able to reach those goals, right? And then are complaining about not reaching those goals because the hard work is where I live, right? I live in the hard work, and so um, everything is about where can I improve? Where can I get better? Right? And if you don't have that mindset, it's just not fun being around people that don't. Right? So I get passionate when I talk about it. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Tomorrow we're gonna be back on with some more tactical strategy and how to execute some of this stuff. I won't be talking about like actually doing it, like having the mindset to do it, or why it's important to do it, or why it's important to know your churn percentage, or all of that stuff. You got to know all that stuff, right? All of your numbers. If you're not good at numbers, keep trying. You'll eventually figure it out, right? Um, but let's get down to the how do we do this stuff. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about more lead generation stuff, specifically Facebook groups. So, anyways, guys, appreciate you for taking the time to watch this. I am going to be back at it tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then. We're out of here.